Imagine standing on the precipice of despair, where hope is a mere flicker in the darkness. Now, imagine a blind girl with the power to heal the incurable. Her touch, a beacon in the abyss. In Stephen King's Ayana, the boundaries between the mortal and the miraculous blur, pulling you into a story where every heartbeat echoes with suspense and every shadow hides a secret. Brace yourself for a journey into the unknown, where faith and fear walk hand in hand.
Good morning. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my mind. Welcome to my chaos. What can I talk about with authority and with knowledge? Very little. Mostly myself. But in sharing my story, maybe you'll find something for your own story that will help you. Because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Sharing and helping. Out to Joey Locke. Joey Locke's the guy that does YouTube videos that I actually heard when I was really stoned once, and I really got his message. Occasionally listen to him. Again, this is not a popularity contest. This is just me sharing my life with you if you're interested. So, what can I share with you this morning? I don't know yet. I haven't had a cup of coffee. Maybe some coffee and blues? No, I don't know. No, I'm not feeling very musical today. I'm almost out of coffee. I had to buy some coffee from the store, and it's coming in a little bit. I'm waiting for the phone call. We have delivery, so I have my coffee delivered. Thank God. Almost out of sugar too. Basic supplies, basic stuff. Coffee, sugar, rice, beans, flour. Stuff that we need every day. A lot of people don't have it. A lot of people on this planet are going hungry today. Don't have basic necessities of life. One could say maybe because there's too many people that don't know how to live, but it's not true. In fact, if anybody goes hungry, we all go hungry. That's the lesson here. Talk about consciousness and collective consciousness. Little doll. See this? Look at her braid. Her arms are coming out. She's a gorgeous little thing, isn't she? All straight. No, I guess she still has her eyes and her mouth. It's an old doll. It's been around for a long time. Probably take her to the school. Take all the dolls to the school, I think. Anyways, collective consciousness and consciousness in general. The Vedas say that consciousness is. Let's put this here. There we go. Is that better? The Vedas say that consciousness is collective. That intelligence is collective. There we go. It makes sense because language is collective and consciousness requires language. So the language that we use to understand our existence, to be conscious of ourselves, is a collective language that we learn from our parents, our peers, our teachers. Uh, Not an individual, independent thing. So language is a collective. Intelligence and intelligence, therefore, is collective because language and intelligence are intertwined. So our individual consciousness is our collective consciousness. However weird that may sound. What I perceive as reality is what you perceive as reality from a different point of view. So I can't really talk about the great things without first observing and talking about the things that are missing, that are lacking. We are still stuck in a world where we are uh, killing each other, allowing others to die needlessly, stealing from each other, killing each other, taking away from each other, uh, hurting each other all the time for personal benefit, for personal benefit. Oh, God. Good morning, guys. And there's no real, logic to it. I mean, the personal benefit that one gets from, for instance, robbing a bank is very temporal, and it cannot be enjoyed as easily. There's a movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called True Lies or something like that, where the fictional characters become real, and the bad guy in that show, I forget who the actor was, that does Snape in Harry Potter. One of his moments of really good writing says, in this world, the bad guys, because he's a fictional character that becomes a real character, right? So in the movies, the good guys always win. But in the real world, the bad guys win. And I want to challenge that. For many years, I thought, oh, it's true. It is true. In the real world, bad guys win. They can enjoy their life a lot more better than the good guys because they have money. If they have money, they can travel to Europe. They can buy expensive things and enjoy the pleasures of hiring other people to do their will, buying other people's souls. But then what needs to be challenged is the definition of winning. I mean, by most standards, having a lot of money is definitely a winning thing, right? You have a lot of money, you get to do what you want. And yet, all of the monasteries, all of the serious spiritual practices out there that are worth their salt require people to have a vow of poverty, meaning you won't accumulate wealth for yourself. Of course, in most religions, that vow of poverty is actually a lie. It's actually a compound. Let's see what we have here today. But why do religions have a vow of poverty? Uh, because there's an interesting group of people. See, this one up. Why do we have a vow of poverty? Because the accumulation of wealth does not bring about peace. Now, this I know for a fact because I've actually lived with very wealthy people, and they were always in fear of losing their wealth. That was their primary motivation, is they didn't want to lose their wealth. Wealth is so addictive, so toxic for the soul that you spend all your life afraid of losing it, afraid of not having it, accumulating more wealth so you don't have to fear losing it. And wealth is very, very mischievous. It doesn't, the Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, the Hindu goddess of wealth, is very capricious. She can even take away on a whim. For instance, my dad, on 2 occasions, managed to amass $1 million, but he lost both of them. Blasphemers Bible. Er ist verwalt als Vice-Kandidat. Google is un monopolio. Tell me what else is new. Elmaya Britalis Schicksal. Upcoming. Bangladesh. Lebanon. Chaos Dwarf versus Tom Kings. Iran and Russia. I am so detached from all this stuff, you know. These are all my subscriptions. And occasionally, I mean, let's look at my little bell thing, see what we got here that is interesting. First two are committed on what? Let's see what this is. Damn short, squeeze my balls.
Igual.
Oh, my little niece.
Hi, YouTubers. I wanted to talk to you about something very important.
Man,
I just got
my hair was still black.
These shorts. I just got
I
these
could
shorts.
see my knees.
Now, I'm a pretty reasonable guy.
Yeah.
I consider myself a reasonable guy, but when I find this inside my shorts, squishing my balls, I just gotta get angry because it's this fabric. I don't know why they put it in there. It was like a short inside of the short. You know, my little balls, they go right in there. And it was the most uncomfortable, incredibly uncomfortable, ridiculous piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. So I had to rip it out because, truthfully, I mean, your balls
still
have
holds true, by the way.
What's the point of going out and swimming and everything if your balls are going to be all scrunched up?
Scrunched up, exactly.
People get it.
That shit.
Testicles are meant to hang, not to be scrunched up against
You tell him, boy.
your body. That's just unnatural.
I still agree with
So,
this guy.
anyways, I just wanted to share that with you.
Knows what he's talking about. And those damn shorts did squeeze my balls. And I'm glad I told you guys so. I mean, yeah, damn things squeeze my balls. You know, I hate my balls getting squished up and stuff. So, I basically used like baggy pants, yoga pants, I guess they call them. So, anyways, we were talking about collective consciousness and consciousness. God, you get a lot of talking done in 15 minutes. And what it means to be conscious, and it's a collective thing. Like this new technology, this thing, this internet. An Astarian and Karlak's adventure. Love is a legendary action. This is a new one. Cool. Dungeons and Dragons. 17 hours ago. Huh. I don't want to deal with that right now, right? I'm talking to you guys about some collective consciousness thing. I mean, I do want to see it, but not in this instant. I'm actually waiting that I can start. I need to do. I'm writing a screenplay on a book for a client, and I got to do that. I got to do that, but I'm gonna get some inspiration, and I don't necessarily want to play Baldur's Gate right now. It's not what I'm into right now. It's not what I want. So I just want to maybe look at the videos I got. I want to talk to you guys. I want to go in a different avenue. I'm waiting for my coffee and stuff. I can be without I can be without a lot of stuff, but coffee is not something I enjoy being without. So, and I'm gonna make some pasta. I'm gonna go downstairs and clean up the kitchen a little bit. Magia del caos, chaos magic. So, but let's see what videos we find about consciousness, collective consciousness. Let's see who talks about collective consciousness. Metal Gear, whatever that is, collective consciousness. Jimmy Metal Rising, collective consciousness audiobook. Archetypes and the mystery of the collective unconscious. Collective consciousness. Well, collective unconscious. That's you. What is collective consciousness and how it affects us? 5 minutes. Let's take a look at this.
Have you ever walked into a room where you felt the energy was so low you had to immediately leave? Or maybe you met a person whose vibe immediately pulled you away. Can you recall a place where you feel at peace? A place you'd normally go to relax and to recharge your batteries? The reason I'm asking you this is to make you aware of the fact that you are very sensitive to the energies around you. Energies that affect and influence your life, whether you're conscious of them or not. I am pretty sure that has happened to you not once, but many times in your life. And this is what we're going to investigate today. The reason this is such an important topic to discuss is because these energies don't affect just you, but every physical object or being on this planet. Every animal, person, rock, or tree is affected by it. So, without further ado, let's dive deeper into this discussion. You've probably heard before that a certain person has such good or bad energy. And in general, you tend to spend time in places and to make friends only with those who make you feel good or match your energy. You intuitively know, even without having a dialogue with somebody, what they're about, what their personality is like, or you might even get a sense of somebody's thoughts before you get to know them. But how is that the case? How can you know people's intentions even without talking to them? What is
the AI videos, the AI language has a tendency to ramble on about talking about a subject before it actually talks about the subject. Human beings tend to go right into the matter of hand without a preamble. AI does a lot of preamble in their videos, so that's an AI video, and I just subscribe to it. I hate that. That's an unscripted thing. I don't have the time for that though. I look at the suggested videos because my subscriptions are all mostly AIs now. It's bizarre. First, AI generated demon. But we wanted to see something about collective consciousness. You guys have an idea of collective unconscious. Collective Consciousness by Dan Marquez. Read for free. Consciousness explain how collective consciousness affects our world. Well, there's a human being. Cool.
All right, so we're going to be talking about how collective consciousness actually changes and affects our physical world. So this is going to bring into conversation. So everything you're seeing out there, all the chaos that may be happening, all the great things that are happening, all the different beliefs and stuff that are coming to the surface, all the new changes, right, or the things that stay in place, everything is affected by collective consciousness. And collective consciousness is constantly evolving, and each and every one of us is tied into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to explain how collective consciousness plays a role in actually affecting our physical world, such that we can understand why a shift in consciousness is at the forefront of how we are going to see change. The collective consciousness is a precursor to the actual physical solutions, thus change starts within, and that's where we got to focus. So if we're waiting on physical solutions to come and fix everything, we're going to see how that is not going to happen until we first change ourselves and empower ourselves to actually make these changes from a different place within ourselves. So, collective consciousness, this is the way it works, right? Imagine, for lack of a better way of thinking about it, that there's this massive bubble, if you will, sitting above the planet. And each and every one of us is tied via, whether you want to view it as a cord, a wire, whatever it may be. We're all tied into collective consciousness, having our experience. We are, and it's hard to see this, but this is basically receiving and sending. We're all receiving and sending to collective consciousness. We're receiving essentially various things about how our world is, how it works, how it's set up, how we, believe and understand things. Some of the more metaphysical understandings that exist with, we're going to go through the experience. We're all souls. We're connected. We're going through an evolutionary process. But we also receive things like, diving into this one, for example, like the 4-minute mile, right? If you don't know this story, it's essentially stating things around human limitation. What we believe as a collective is possible. So the 4-minute mile is essentially someone had set out to basically run 1 mile, around a track in 4 minutes. And it was believed, and even scientifically, people were trying to come forth and say this, that this was impossible, that nobody could do this. And you would see people, as they would get literally within meters of the finish, they would just collapse and fall apart or slow down so much that they couldn't pass it. Because the effect of collective consciousness, the belief of the collective was so strong that people were engaging with it enough that it was stopping their physical reality and even the production of that as an option so much that it couldn't happen. Then, one day, someone who truly, truly believed this was possible went beyond, in essence, the confines of collective consciousness and completed the 4-minute mile. Not long after that, and again, you gotta understand, this was being tried many times beforehand and everybody kept failing. Not long after that, someone else did it. And then someone else did it. And then someone else did it. And all of a sudden now, so many people were able to do the 4-minute mile. Now, this wasn't just because suddenly everybody was trying to do it. This was literally because people were beginning to realize it was possible. And now, all of a sudden, you weren't seeing the collapse happening at the end of the 4-minute mile. You were seeing people able to finish through. And you've seen this in your own life. When you believe something is impossible, but then you see someone else do it, suddenly you're able to do it very easily. And you can also see the path to which something like this is done. So the 4-minute mile was an example of sort of stepping beyond some collective consciousness and actually getting things to actually happen in our physical world. Now, what I want to do is talk about how collective consciousness, right, actually inhibits or allows, and it's not as an inhibitor, it's as a set of rules that we set up and we tap into and we decide as a collective. Now, the reason why it's important to view it this way is that when we want to understand why a world is the way it is, why things continue to stay stuck, why different presidents come into the limelight and be who everybody's looking at and everybody was paying attention to, right? We did this video on Trump talking about this. We essentially bring things forward based on what collective consciousness needs, right? I.e., all of us. What we need, agree to, understand, also to help us evolve, because collective evolution or collective consciousness is always evolving, right? So collectively, we decide this is the best option for us to continue to learn, grow, and evolve. When someone like Trump, for example, comes into power, this is the best option. Why? Because there's so many things, as we discussed in the previous video, for us to reflect on with that. So in this particular case, right, collective consciousness, let's look at, curing an illness. So you ask the question, why are some people able to cure an illness just with their thoughts, their minds, their good intentions, versus other people who may not be able to do that? So what ends up happening in this particular instance is you have essentially the placebo effect playing out. Now, the placebo from a scientific perspective is sort of this like inconvenient little thing, this power of the mind, so to speak, that makes it so that it's difficult to measure the introduction of something external in someone's healing journey, right? But in reality, what the placebo effect is showing us the power of our own mind, our own consciousness over a specific instance, right? And so when it comes to curing an illness, why are we sometimes able to see it and sometimes we're not, if collective consciousness in the majority of the world typically believes that, you know what, I need to have some sort of external practice of taking a medication in order to heal, right? If that's the main belief, and most people keep going to medicine and medicine and medicine, yet then there's those odd cases, those phenomena that we can't quite explain, where people are healing themselves without the use of any form of medication. What they're actually doing is they are looking at, again, if we're looking at a weighted system, right? So let's say on this particular issue of curing an illness, so we'll call it illness, right? And, let's say it's weighted for the sake of explanation in the collective consciousness that like 60% of people believe that you need an external medication, whereas 40% of people believe, hey, you know what, it is possible. It makes it so that these particular instances of curing an illness, there's a lot more knowledge, upload and download, of possibility for this available within collective consciousness, that it makes this possibility a lot easier. Because it's possible to cure an illness because enough people are putting that belief into the collective consciousness, which we have access to, which begins to shape our external world, right? Then you look at monks flying, for example. Now, this is something most people haven't even heard of, but there's a ton of eyewitness cases, and there's a ton of people who say, yes, in areas of Tibet and so forth, where there's very, very practiced monks, you will sometimes see them flying through the air, whether in lotus position, whether they're levitating, whether they actually just sort of fly through the sky, right? Does this look like an airplane? I imagine not. But from the cases that I've seen, sometimes it's them levitating, quite high off the ground. Sometimes it's them actually moving in a jumping manner that is very high and going through the air, right? These are how, when people say monks are flying, this is what it actually looks like. So
Buenos días.
Hola, buenos días. Disculpe, soy el repartidor de fresco. Ya me encuentro aquí en el portón.
Le abro el portón, un segundito, por favor.
Muchas gracias.
No cuelgue.
Gracias. Sí.
Momento. ¿Ya abrió?
No. Ya abrió.
Ok, ahí lo veo abajo, gracias.
Gracias.
Guys, my food is here. I'm going to go take care of it. Collective consciousness. Whether you accept it or not accept it, you're part of it. That's kind of the way I look at it. And it's like a collective dream. And most people, it's a nightmare. And that's why we're so fucked up. We'll talk more about it, though, over the years and months and years. See you later. Thanks for coming. Bye.